Good morning and welcome back to my channel. So today we are starting lecture 56 bio section. The title is linkage and recombination. So see, there is inverse relation between these two terms, linkage and recombination. In the last lecture we studied about chromosomal theory. So this theory helped to understand that Mendel's factors, which are genes, they are located on chromosome. And if two genes are located close to each other, such genes are called linked genes and they will show low levels of recombination. On the other hand, if the genes are spaced out on the chromosome, they will show high levels of recombination. Okay, this basic concept we will understand in this video. So in this video, we will talk about two important scientists. Number one is Morgan. Morgan was inspired by Mendel's work. So he did dihybrid cross, okay, but he arrived at different results. He was expecting Mendel's results 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1, but he got totally different results. And based on these results, he could identify X-linked inheritance and identify linkage as well. So this was based on differences in inheritance pattern in male and females and linkage based on low recombination frequencies. Then second important scientist you will learn is Alfred Sturtevant. He was student of Morgan, okay, and he designed an approach to create gene maps using recombination frequency. So we have a numerical based on this concept, which I will discuss in this video. So see, Morgan arrived at different results, but he did not conclude that Mendel was wrong. Okay, the modification and extensions of hereditary principles do not invalidate Mendel's important contribution. Keep this in mind. Okay, rather these new results they enlarge our understanding of heredity. So as a science student, as a bio student, as a medical science student, you should keep an open mind, okay, and try to understand that biology is a subject with enormous quantum of information. Okay, so everything fits in, all diversity fits in biology. Okay, so take home messages: keep an open mind all your life and be a learner all your life. There is so much to learn in science. So this is the page which I will be discussing today. I have divided the content into 4 sections. In the first section, we will understand why Morgan worked on Drosophila melanogaster. He was working on mice and rats, but he switched to Drosophila melanogaster, which is called fruit fly. Then in the second section, we will understand the deviations seen in F2 generation compared to Mendel's ratio. And then third section, new concept of parental combination, which in turn led to the idea of linkage. And finally, Alfred Sturtevant's approach to create gene maps. So this line I have discussed yesterday. Based on this statement, this was the question which we also discussed. Experimental verification of chromosomal theory of inheritance was done by Morgan. So the theory was proposed by Sutton and Boveri, and experimental verification was done by Morgan. Now we will start from here. So I want to give you a brief introduction about Morgan. So his full name was Thomas Hunt Morgan. He was American biologist, first person to explain sex-linked inheritance. He was inspired by Mendel and he started genetic experiments on mice and rats. In 1909, he switched to Drosophila melanogaster. And there he discovered among the flies of his laboratory colony a single male that possessed white eyes. And this changed the course of his research work. Okay, this is the experiment we will discuss in detail. First, we will understand why he switched to Drosophila melanogaster. So this organism is called fruit fly in common language. So this is the image given in NCERT. Male are shorter than female. So these are few points which gives advantage of using Drosophila melanogaster as model organism, okay, and ease of working with Drosophila in laboratory experiments. First one, the feed is simple synthetic medium. Life cycle is approximately 2 weeks. It produces large number of progeny. This is an added advantage because if you want to give credibility to your data, okay, in statistics, large number, large sample size, it helps in increasing the credibility of the data. Sexes are easily distinguishable, and hereditary variations, they can be easily seen under low power microscope. Okay, so very simple equipments are needed, and easily you can culture them in short time and you will get large progeny. So these are the advantage of using Drosophila melanogaster over mice and rats, which he was working on. Now we will understand these. So see, this complicated dihybrid cross is given in NCERT textbook. I want to split it so that you can easily understand this concept. So first I will discuss monohybrid cross, which was done by Morgan. Okay, we will only focus on the eye color, white eye and red eye in Drosophila. So Morgan crossed red-eyed female with white-eyed male. So what is expected? See, majority of flies were red-eyed. So Morgan assumed that red eye is dominant. And these were rare. So white eye indicated this was recessive trait in eye color. So expected ratio will be 3:1. Red, majority of progeny will be red-eyed and few will be white-eyed. Instead, what he got was all the females were red-eyed and half of males were red-eyed, half were white-eyed. So this was clear-cut deviation from Mendel's ratio. So then what he did, he performed reciprocal cross. What is the meaning of reciprocal cross? As the name suggests, you will change the genders. Now you will have red-eyed male and white-eyed female. White-eyed female crossed with red-eyed male. So see, equal proportion of red and white-eyed females and red and white-eyed males. So this ratio not only deviated from Mendel's ratio, it also deviated from the first cross which he made using this combination. So the explanation of this result was these traits were located on X chromosome. X chromosomes are the sex chromosome. The Y chromosome, it doesn't code for any character. Okay, so whatever allele is present on this X chromosome will be expressed phenotypically. If this is white allele, so the phenotype will be white eye. If this is red, the phenotype will be red eyed. Y will, there is nothing on Y. Okay, so there is nothing which can mask this particular allele. So this is how Mendel identified X-linked inheritance. If the genes are present on sex chromosomes, the inheritance pattern will be totally different. Now we will look into the dihybrid cross to understand linkage. So first statement says Morgan carried out several dihybrid crosses in Drosophila to study genes that were sex-linked. Next one, the crosses were similar to dihybrid crosses carried out by Mendel in peas. So what the statement means is the design, the experimental design was similar. So two characters, yellow body, white-eyed females, two brown body and red-eyed males, and intercross their F1 progeny. So he observed that the two genes did not segregate independently. This is the key word. Okay. So 9:3:3:1 ratio is observed only when the genes segregate independently. But this did not happen. So Morgan and his group knew that genes were located on the X chromosome and saw quickly that when the two genes in dihybrid cross were situated on the same chromosome, the proportion of parental gene combinations were much higher than the non-parental type. And this is how he came to the conclusion that physical association or linkage is responsible for high number of parental gene combination. Okay. So he coined the term linkage to describe the physical association of genes on a chromosome. So if the genes are linked, that is an indication that they are not only present on the same chromosome, they are closely associated. They are physically close to each other. The term recombination to describe generation of non-parental gene combination. So linkage will be concluded if more of parental combinations are same. And you will conclude that recombination is happening if more non-parental combinations are seen. Okay, so with this background, now we will look into the details of dihybrid cross. So see, first things first, the way it is presented in NCERT textbook, this is very confusing. Okay, they have used this term wild type. What does it mean? Wild type means it is the dominant type. Okay, keep this in mind. You can note it in your notebook. Wild type here means the dominant type, and yellow and white are the recessive ones. And another thing which they have done is the body is brown and the eye color is red. Instead, they have given a totally different color, blue color. Okay, this is also confusing. So what you can do in your notebook, okay, make two chromosomes like this, okay, and then give the only mark the region in yellow. So this region indicates the yellow alleles, and this one is for white allele. Yellow is for body color, white is for eye color. And over here, brown is for body color and red is for eye color. Okay. Wild type is the dominant type. Brown body and red eye. Yellow and white, these are the recessive ones. Now, another type of cross, in this case, different genes are studied. White again stands for the white eye color, but here M stands for the wings. So this M is for miniature and wild type will be non-miniature wings. Again, W plus stands for the red eye color. Okay, so in your notebook, you draw the chromosomes in this way and represent the alleles using the appropriate colors. Don't use this color format. And the other chromosome is blank. It doesn't code for any genes. It only codes for the genes for sex determination. Okay, so that's why nothing is marked on this chromosome. This is in F1 generation, the yellow chromosome and the blue one, they combine. Okay, and this will combine with this Y chromosome. Okay, so whatever is present will be expressed phenotypically. Okay, you will see yellow and white. But in this combination, the dominant will dominate. Okay, so wild type is seen here. Same over here. These are recessive traits. Okay, so in the presence of the dominant type, the recessive will hide. So wild type will be seen here. And in this case, the recessive one is expressed because there is nothing on Y chromosome to suppress it. See, in F2 generation, the parental types were 98.7% and recombinant types were very low, 1.3%. So this pattern indicated that the genes were very tightly linked. But in this case, they are spaced out. Okay, so recombinant type were also high in percentage. So this indicated the genes are loosely linked. So Morgan and his group also found that even when genes were grouped on the same chromosome, some genes were very tightly linked, showed very low recombination, while others were loosely linked, showed higher recombination. Okay, so these are the numbers 1.3 and 37.2%. 1.3 and 37.2%. Okay, so with all those crosses, now you can understand how he discovered X-linked inheritance and linkages. Now, in order to conclude two genes are linked, okay, they have to be present on the same chromosome and they have to be present close to each other. Now, based on this topic, try to attend this question. In a test cross involving F1 dihybrid flies, more parental type offsprings were produced than the recombinant type offspring. This indicates, so when you have more parental type, this will indicate linkage. The two genes are located on two different chromosomes. That is not the definition of linkage. Chromosome fail to separate during meiosis. So chromosomes separate, okay? Chromosomes, they will definitely separate. So there is no error in meiosis. This is wrong. The two genes are linked and present on the same chromosome. So this is the definition of linkage. This is correct. Both the characters are controlled by more than one gene. We are not talking about polygenic inheritance. We are talking about linkage. So option 3 is the right answer. The term linkage was coined by Morgan. Option 2. Select the correct statement. Franklin Stahl coined the term linkage. This is incorrect. And this is the reason why I selected this question. Okay, so see the question on linkage, who coined the term? They can frame any sentence and ask you to identify whether it is correct or incorrect. Punnett square was developed by British scientists. So we have to identify the correct statement. So this is the correct statement. Then two statement questions, assertion, reason. Mendel's law of independent assortment does not hold good for genes that are located closely on the same chromosome. Correct. They don't assort independently and they are inherited together, and this is the reason you will get parental combinations. So this statement is correct. A is correct. Closely located genes assort independently. This is opposite of what is given here. So since this is correct, this will be incorrect. R is incorrect. R is false, A is true. Option 3. Now the last section. His student, Morgan's student, Alfred Sturtevant, used the frequency of recombination between gene pairs on the same chromosome as a measure of distance between genes and mapped their position on the chromosome. Today, genetic maps are extensively used as a starting point in sequencing of whole genome, as was done in the case of Human Genome Sequencing Project, described later. So see, nothing else is given, okay? But this question was asked in NEET 2022. So I will first explain you how to use this data to design the gene map. So this is from this book, Pear's Genetics, a Conceptual Approach. So see, in a very simple way, they have given here. This is the gene pair, okay? And the recombination frequency is given. And you need to design this gene map. So you will have to use the number. Identify the largest number. It is for C and D. Okay, so mark the two ends C and D. So this distance is 23 map unit. So one map unit is equivalent to 1% recombination. So if you see 23% recombination, this will indicate 23 map units. So we have the distance between C and D are 23 map units. Now the second highest number is B and D. It is 13. So from D you will have to start, okay, and then go to 13 and then mark it as B. And the last one is A and D is 8. So again start from D and go till 8. So 8, this is A. Okay, so the sequence of the genes will be D, A, B and C. Okay, simple. So now the final question, the most important question on this topic. The recombination frequency between genes A and C, B and C, B and D, A and B, C and D A and D, all are given. What will be the sequence of these genes on a linear chromosome? So these are the different sequences given. There are 4 genes total, A, B, C, D. You will have to arrange them and the data is given here. So the first things first, you need to keep in mind one map unit represents 1% recombination. So look for the highest number. A and D is 29%. So first draw that line. So A and D are far apart. Okay. So it will begin with A, end with D. Strike out the other ones. Next lower number is 24%. C and D. So you will have to start from D and go this direction up to 24%. So this is the distance C and D. Okay. So obviously now A and C will be 29 minus 24. That will be 5%. AC is 5%. Check here. See, this is 5% here. Now the next number is 20%, A and B. So starting from A, go 20 units and that will be the position of B. A and B is 20. Okay. Now B and D will be 9%. See, this is 9%, B and D. B and D 9%. So looks like we have the sequence ACBD. And we have used all the data also. 15% this is remaining, B and C. So this gap will be 15%. Okay. So based on this, the sequence is ACBD. ACBD. Option 4 is the answer. So this was all about linkage and crossing over. In the next lecture, we will discuss mutation and the example of disease, human disease will be sickle cell anemia. It is not covered in NTA syllabus, but it is in the textbook, NCERT textbook. Okay. So I will cover this tomorrow. Thanks a lot for watching this video and take good care of yourself.